My name is Professor Evan Teed, and I teach DMEDIA 24 at San Joaquin Delta College, which covers the basics of video and audio editing. I came to Delta College in fall 2011 after graduating from high school. I studied here in the radio and television department. That's before this was known as digital media. After that, I graduated and went on to San Francisco State and got a bachelor's degree in cinema studies. And I worked as a freelancer for a few years and worked on various projects, but in 2023, I took on the opportunity to become a professor in digital media here and teach up-and-coming filmmakers everything that I've learned in the past decade. And it's pretty interesting, and it's pretty interesting how it's come full circle that 10 years ago, I started here in this very room and went on this big, crazy journey. And now my goal is to pass on what I've learned to up-and-coming filmmakers and see what journeys they go on. Outside of Delta College, I actually freelance a lot in the film world in this area, mainly in the Sacramento market and the Bay Area. I've done a lot of things from being a production assistant. I've been a behind-the-scenes content shooter. I've worked in the camera department. I've done cinematography. I've done editing. I've done videos for local businesses, and I even do photography. There's a giant list of directors, editors, cinematographers that inspire me. But one that I always like to go to for number one is David Fincher, who directed Fight Club. And I watched that movie in 2014 for the first time, and I was a latecomer to it, to a lot of people's surprise, actually. But as soon as I watched that movie, not knowing what it was about and what I was getting into, what really stood out to me was the way the story was written, how it was edited, the effects they did, the acting, the cinematography, and how that was all pulled off in the 90s. That really amazed me, and it was definitely a story and a type of movie that I wanted to tell. And it put Fincher on the map for me. It made me really look into the rest of his work, and it really stood out to me in the way he handled things on set and the way he works as a filmmaker and the work that he's done. There's a cinematographer that stands out to me, and that's Greg Fraser, who has been the DP for movies such as Rogue One, The Batman, Dune, and many others, to name a few. And he actually won the Oscar for the first Dune movie. He definitely caught my eye with Rogue One, but after seeing him do his work on The Batman and Dune, and then seeing a lot of his other projects, that really inspired me the way he did camera movement and lighting. As a professor who teaches editing, I actually do have a list in Canvas of a bunch of movies that I think are pretty good or demonstrate good editing. So I actually have worked with a couple of big name companies, shows, and movies in the past. Definitely one of the biggest highlights for me was when I got to be an extra in Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was a fun one. I also got to be an extra a few times in the Netflix show 13 Reasons Why. This is kind of where networking kind of is a common thread that I like to preach to people, because when I was on those sets, that got me to network with other crew members and other extras who are also like-minded. They're all trying to do the same thing and grow in the film industry. So I would meet one person on that set, and then they would ask me if I'm available to work on this or that. And I worked on The Voice for one season, actually. And I can't say it was an entire season, but when they were doing auditions in San Francisco, I was a production assistant for that time period. I worked on a show that was for NBC, and it's kind of funny to describe because it was actually a Mexican TV show, and the entire crew came from Mexico. It was literally Mexico NBC, but they were in the Bay Area shooting. They needed local crew members, and I worked on it. Other notable projects I've done a few crime documentaries for Discovery Channel. I've worked with Ghost Adventures. Yeah, I gotta say my favorite one is being an extra in Ant-Man and the Wasp, because even if I'm that small on the screen and it's only for 2 seconds, that's still a Marvel movie, and I'm on screen in the movie, so you can't really beat that. The goal is to always grow as a cinematographer and an editor, director, producer, basically just grow as a filmmaker. And I'd say the goals that I'm always trying to hit it's always gonna be the goal, even if I achieve it, the goal is gonna be to do it again, and that's to DP a feature. And heck, even if I could edit a feature, it'd be something I wanna do. I also like screenwriting, so to finish writing a feature screenplay is something I'd like to do, and to direct. And cinematography, that is, like I said, the main thing that I would love to go for and grab the bull by the horns on, but I love every aspect of filmmaking. So yes, I would love to write a screenplay. I'd love to direct a film. I'd love to shoot one. I'd love to edit one, and love to be on set. That's always the goal. And it's a goal I've achieved, it's a goal I want to achieve again, and I'm always going to achieve or strive to achieve. When an opportunity didn't go right for me, I told myself, I found the opportunity once, I will find it again. So that's kind of what keeps me pushing through, even if times are tough and I can't find opportunities or work doesn't come through, or something I thought was going well and then turned out bad in a project, I think, okay, I know when to step away from a bad deal and a bad scenario, and to know, okay, better things are ahead. To definitely be prepared for the worst, but hope for the best. And one final thing I would advise any aspiring filmmaker and student on is to always show up and to be professional and respectful to everybody.